allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is, we're going to open a public hearing. We're going to open the public hearing regarding local law number 2, establishing an alternate date for a meeting of the Board of Assessment Review. We had we introduced it last meeting, and we going through the public hearing process. So that will go on if anybody has anything to say or any questions.
I was curious why you have to change the date.
Change the date because our assessor has, it's a conflict, she can't be in two places at once.
But I don't think she's supposed to be at the
Yes, she has.
agreement.
She's got to be there because she has to defend her role.
Really?
Otherwise, how does the grievance board know what her position is in response to the complaint?
Well, I thought they met afterwards.
Well, they
I know that the one time when I did a grievance,
The board meets afterwards to
Yeah.
make their decisions, but they don't meet afterwards to hear the comeback from the assessor.
all right, well, I was just curious.
Well, I'm glad you were curious. Anybody else curious?
I have a cat that's...
You can get this abuse anywhere.
No, not really.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, how you doing?
Dan, how are ya? Back on duty again?
Usually we hand you something
Oh.
when you walk in.
No, I don't know.
I haven't gotten around to changing the address.
Oh, okay, I stuck it somewhere.
So I found it on my list.
It's a real controversial public hearing.
So repetitive, you know. They wanted us to keep it every single
Minute and a half.
you know, they wanted-
Well, it gives them some time to get their work
They
done
Yeah.
and answer questions.
It's already there, we don't have to repeat ourselves over. We did make a
You got a message.
Working with her and then working together with the other.
In there, and it says,
wanted to appoint me.
cancel.
I'm not gonna lose this.
That's it. Slept for another 45 minutes, and yeah, life was good. I'm sorry.
It's an Alaconis.
But you know what, that was fun because we did.
Yeah, she's also an Oregon, so when I can't go someplace, I send her to play.
And I have.
Yeah, no.
Did Tessa know this?
It's that delay. As soon as you hear delay, you just delay the day. That's how they work. I really didn't like the delays. I know, but we couldn't get up the hill to pick up the children, so it's hard to start school without.
Okay, we're going to close the public hearing with a motion from someone at the table.
So moved.
Okay, John, second. Got it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next order of business is we have a guest of the board tonight. And should I do this, should I publicly apologize? We were
You do
supposed
not
to,
have to
we were supposed to be at
apologize.
the school for me, but we weren't there. And so I guess that's why it's a special, you're specially coming to tell us what we missed.
No, I'm not. I was gonna come anyways, so, but thank you for the invite. Usually when I come to the board meetings, it's usually to tell you that we have a referendum, and that what is happening at the school. So I just wanted to quickly give you an idea of what's happening after the referendum. Our referendum passed this fall, and we talked about the fact that we have capital funds and we're going to use them to do some of this renovations and some of the projects that are in the works. one of the things that we'll be working on, so to let everyone know, and we're kind of excited about it, is I'm sure you all know this roof. The roof project on the elementary school. This is the 38 building, the historical part of the building. And this project is going to start, keep your fingers crossed because we're pretty excited about this. It will start the day after we get out of school in June. So that entire campus where this is located, that whole top of the campus will be closed until probably that first week in August. Because they will put scaffolding all the way around. They're going to be able to take down some of this paint up here we think has some lead in it, so we'll need to do lead abatement. So they're doing a lot of research on exactly what is happening there. So this contracting company that we're working with has been great. They've done a number of slate roofs in New York State. So we're saying this is exciting for us and we're going to have this project started. The entire 12-month employee group that is usually in that building, and there's a number of people that are working, will be housed at the high school. So if you're looking for anyone in Sullivan West, we're all at the high school, very cozy, all together in offices up there. So we'll be doing any of our summer programs, any of the signing up and registration for kids, that will all be done at the high school for the K-12 campus. At the same time that that is happening, we're very excited, and I'm going to pass some of these around, that we will be doing, we're looking at starting the project, which is, I'm just gonna give you that. We're starting the project, which is the high school, and you know that there's all those grounds behind it. And this is kind of the first rendering of what the possibilities could be. Now, this doesn't mean we're gonna start all of these this summer. We're really looking at, from a survey standpoint, exactly where these fields could go. The things we're looking at doing is we're trying to come up with a baseball field, a softball field, and a soccer field at the high school facility, because needless to say, our kids are a little tight with just the facilities that they have right now, and this would allow us to practice all of these teams at a little bit earlier time and not back them all up against each other. So we're looking at this, but when we lay these things out, we also have to think of what could possibly be in this in the future, because you can't just put a field down and then just hope it doesn't overlap something else. So they were really thinking, what would it look like if we had tennis courts on this facility? What would it look like if we had another practice field? So you'll see some additional pieces. But the pieces we're really excited about are the baseball field, the softball field, and another soccer field. And you'll see that the soccer field is overlaid on that baseball field. So that we get multi-use out of it. We're starting to get a little bit of a walkway so people can wander on down and see these facilities, and who knows what the possibilities are. But these are all in the referendum, so the money is there, and we're just looking forward to phasing all of these things in. And I just thought you would like to know where we are and wondering what we're working on, and this is the latest from our school.
Good.
So we can share that.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions?
The slate roof, is
Yeah.
that just a renovation or a complete new
Well,
roof?
what we're finding, it's 75 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So we know that this is going to be quite a project, and the contractors are really looking at exactly how much they could do. They have done almost the exact project in another area, and so they're ready to do all or some or whatever it's going to take. But their expertise is really gonna lead this project.
Okay.
And yes, we missed you this morning. It's not a problem though. I will promise to invite you again to the community breakfast for leaders, and we spoke
Perhaps
of
not
you.
me, Ed.
How about, we spoke of both of you, so,
He has to go to the study hall.
oh, yes. He needs a note, he does need a note. It's very not intended.
These people doing this
Yep.
slate doesn't wear out.
No.
It's just the fastenings, and
Yes.
if it leaks,
Mhm.
there's rot underneath it.
Right.
How extensive is that? Has anybody,
Oh, we've been up there, in
Told
fact,
you?
they were up on it yesterday in that wonderful snow that we had in between that. So that is the company that's looking at it.
I mean, from the inside, is there a whole lot of,
From the inside,
Damage?
so far, the damage is minimal. So we're knowing that, we know that they're loose. You can see the scaffolding that's around the building, and that's because we've had some that have,
Right,
kind of
yeah.
loosened themselves up and come down. So we're hoping that this, this firm really seems to know a lot about these things, and that's one of the reasons why we chose them.
I mean, slate roofs are lost trade anymore.
Right.
It's you
So
two
this-
guys' fault because you went there, that's what happened.
Yeah.
This is CS Arch. It's out of Newburgh. So it's a good,
Is the price you have
dependent upon how much has to be done, or is it a set
No,
price? or-
their estimated cost to replace the entire roof is within our budget. So
So if they don't replace the entire roof, you get it for less?
we could get it for less, yes.
Okay.
So, and then see, yes. So it's really, we're gonna kind of follow their expertise.
Because that used slate is worth money too.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Big
and that's
time.
part of it,
Yeah.
so.
What kind of dollars are you talking about in the roof?
The roof is about 1.3 million at this point. And that's, remember, we have some lead abatement, we have the cupola, we have the copper on the cupola. So it's the entire,
Some of that.
yes, it's all of that included. That's what our estimate is at this point.
So the whole top of that building ought to be done for 1.3 million.
Well, we have 1.6 in the budget, so I'm hoping to come in
Yeah.
under that, yeah, but we'll see. We haven't put it out to bid yet,
Oh, okay.
so.
Any other questions? Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
How you doing? Okay. The next is acceptance of the minutes. We will have a copy. There were quite a
Oh, my goodness, I was sending resolutions out for a week and a half, I think.
Just gonna say.
Can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Got it. Made. Okay.
Or second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Tess, you're up.
Okay. Okay, February receipts total $916 with $842.50 turned over to the supervisor. Of that, $460 was building fees, $140 birth and death, and $215 dog licenses. Tax payments, February receipts total $223,586.24. To date, I've collected $3,810,079.16. It's about 80% of my warrant, and we were only about 75% at this time last year, so we're a little bit ahead. Correspondence, a letter was received from Senator Bonasek thanking the board for sharing their views on the governor's proposal to limit plea bargaining, and also your Second Amendment's rights resolution. On March 5th, we received a tax certiorari from Millennium Pipeline challenging the assessed value. Copies are available in my office, and we have them every year. Let's see, the Jeff Fire District sent a letter, and they said, the Board of Commissioners of the Jeffersonville Fire District would like to thank you for your support for the new high band radio system for Sullivan County. We feel our fire services would truly benefit from this new system. And finally, I'd like to remind everybody that the burning ban is in effect until May 14th. It's brush fire season, so there's no outdoor burning of any kind, and violations are subject to a minimum $500 fine. So that is my report.
Okay. Bill, Superintendent of Highways?
I would just like to request permission to buy liquid asphalt off a state contract
So move.
for paving.
So move.
Second.
Okay, that's all I have.
Harold made the motion.
Got it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's it?
That's it.
That's the tank you had up there that goes into the,
Howard?
Well, not much to report on the building front. Things are still pretty slow. I have word in hopes that at least 4 new houses will be coming in this year, but so far, no plans. The only thing that you guys might want to know about is I finished all my hours, requisite hours for the year. I went off to school 2 weeks ago and was there for 4 days, so.
Did you get a passing mark?
I don't know. Actually, yes, I was there. That's passing, there are no tests. But I actually learned a few things. It was it's always interesting. You know, some of it's interesting. Code school is not for everybody. Let's put it that way.
When you said it was interesting, I just noticed everybody nodded their head.
Yeah.
That it?
Yes.
Okay, assessors. We don't have any assessors here tonight?
Wow.
I think they had training this week too.
Are they?
Yeah, but I don't remember where.
Dock 'em.
Well, she was here Monday. Well, all right. Yeah. I know they're working, you know, they're working on the reassessment also. Grants coordinator, I know Kara's not here.
We did submit a Category C grant from Sullivan Renaissance for, mostly for the railroad square, the railing, we're gonna put up, get special railing planters, and then big planters, you know, to set on the walkway, and then a bench, then flowers. And I think they're gonna ask Job Corps to build a raised bed in the park, so the Girl Scouts can plant a garden there.
Oh.
Mhm.
Do we have a park committee?
Yes, we had a couple meetings since the last couple months, and the fourth annual plant swap will be May 25th. That's Memorial Day weekend, so that's when you bring your, and we'll have a special guest having a marionette show there. Ramona's going to do her marionette, which is a wonderful thing, you know.
It
It's
is, we saw that.
at the youth center, yeah, during the Sullivan, the market there, the farmer's market. So it'll be a nice event. It's that Memorial Day weekend, and we did buy a stage last year. We got it from Zoot, which was great, and we're going to work with the Job Corps to refurbish it. So, you know, they will help with the community service there. And also maybe build some light stands, so during the performances. We are going to, we would like to have our fourth annual Under the Moon in Callicoon concert series, mostly with local artists. And we want to have 4 shows, and the dates are, we are requesting permission to have the dates as July 13th and 27th, and in August 10th and 24th. Oh, by the way, the plant swap is 10 to 2. And so, and then the shows, Under the Moon is the fourth, and these are both fourth annual ones, are 8 to 11, the shows. We usually finish up around 10:30 so we can clean up and be out of there by 11. And then also just wondering when the trash cans are supposed to be on Audrey Dora Drive. Are those going to be placed there
Usually it's
again?
Memorial Day to Labor Day.
So Memorial Day, this is Memorial Day week. The plant swap is the 25th, which is the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend.
They should be there.
They should be
It's
there?
not the Friday before, don't you, Bill?
Oh, great. Okay, thanks, Bill. And so we're getting ready for another season, and hopefully, you know, people can enjoy it. And also the mowing of it. I don't know what the town's thoughts on mowing. Is that and any last year we had the brush hogged all the way to the creek, which was fantastic because you could actually see the creek. Typically the knotweed has been totally hiding that, so I don't know if any of...
I actually think that that's in the plan too for the grant, to do it a few times this season.
Oh, great. That'd be very, very helpful because it's nice to bring the Callicoon Creek into the Callicoon Park. It's a shame when it's blocked by the knotweed.
Where's the garden gonna be in the creek and park?
I'm not really sure. I think it's gonna be down maybe towards the right side, you know, away from the stage area.
Like by the monument?
Maybe
Toward that way?
towards, yeah, that way.
Is somebody
I believe.
designing the garden, like a landscape architect doing it for free? or
The
pro
Girl
bono?
Scouts, it's their project, and they're gonna have Job Corps create the bed. That's all I know right now. Build the bed.
But you don't know about anybody actually designing it?
No, I think they're gonna be planting gourds and different things like that in it.
It's just the effort of going into it, so, and the community spirit going into it, which is a wonderful thing. So that's all with the park.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I guess we need a motion to approve the concert series.
I'll make the motion.
Cindy?
I'll second.
John seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
You got anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you.
UDC rep.
Thank you. Here is this fantastic data that you all are anticipating.
Dying to get this.
New York City, Delaware River Basin Storage. There we go. Oh, by the way, my fan club sees your thing all the time, and they tell me that I should smile more. Hi, John. Anyhow, here is the, this is the long-term median experience of the level of the water in the Delaware River. As you can see back here in September, it actually got out of below that and it crossed over and it was higher than the long-term median, if you can see that. And we just dipped down and come back to that line. That's as of the 15th, so that doesn't include this little storm yet, I don't think. So that'll put a little snow, a little bit more water in there. But it's right about where it's supposed to be, and that's what the experience has been for years. Total storage, I think, is at 87% in the basin. Never Sink is at 83.8. Papacton 86.9, Cannonsville at 90.6, and we don't look at round out because it doesn't really affect us too much here. However, one of the things you might have read in the paper just recently is about the tax issue, potential tax problem in the town of Never Sink with New York City grieving its assessment. And there was quite a difference in disparity of what it's being assessed for and what they think it's worth. And if you've lived in Sullivan County long enough, you'll know that for years and years and years, people in the town of Never Sink, their school taxes were way down compared to the rest of the whole county. So this is going to create a problem with New York back and forth. Although they have some, and it's just like the things that we've experienced here, where these utilities or whatever it is comes in and you don't really have too much to say about it. I guess that goes to the state. Doesn't the state handle that?
No,
that
those
was
are regular assessments.
all right. There were regular ones. Okay, but anyhow, the reason I bring that up is although that water in the Never Sink doesn't flow in our area here, it does enter the Delaware down in Port Jervis. It flows all the way down in there. There's another thing that happened at the UDC just at the last meeting. It was just sort of a discussion thing. I don't know if you read about, maybe that was in the paper too, about the stress on the river, the thermal stress. Was there something in the paper about that? The thermal stress on the river. And people were concerned, the fishermen especially were concerned about in the summertime, they don't get enough cold water and there can be really stresses on the ecology of the whole river. And basically, they wanted more cold water put in. Now there is a bank for that. In other words, out of all that total storage, the Congress set up a bank, so there would be a pool of water for the purpose of letting it out. But see, New York City really controls what happens there. So there was oodles and oodles of people and fishermen who all were for this thing. But it did create just a little bit of problem. The UDC has been trying to get the towns to be more cognizant of the corridor, and whenever anything comes up related to the corridor that the town is involved in, that the town present it to the UDC or work with the UDC, just like we did with the zoning thing that we just went through with ours. And that's a good thing, that they should be working together. However, when this thing came up, nobody thought about talking to the towns involved. So it came back the other way. you see. Came back the other way. Now, there are 2 townships that are not in the UDC. The UDC has been trying to get them to join for a long, long time. These people are very adamant they don't want anything to do with government if they can help it. So that's okay, that's their opinion, and I'm not opining on their opinion. However, if we expect them to become part and parcel, it would have been a wise step for the UDC or the Park Service or those people involved in that to go to those towns and say, this is what's being proposed. Because what this will do is make colder water coming down into Lordville if it's allowed, which then is going to create a big influx of fishermen wanting to go up there to use it, which will then affect the properties along the river. And the whole area will change eventually. If you look down at what has happened in areas down like in Highland, this is great for canoeing. It's big type thing. Just try to get through there on a weekend in a vehicle on Route 97. It'll show you, and it's a big economic impact. But the crux of the situation is the town said, you never even bothered to ask us about this or even tell us about this. So when I brought it up, they said, oh yeah, right, we should do that. So maybe we're getting cooperation now for towns to be working towards the UDC. Now maybe the UDC can do the same thing back the other way. So it wasn't a knockdown, drag-out fight. It was just a good thing, a good conversation, and it worked out very well. We went along with it, and now we have a little more open mind of where it should go in the future. So that's my report.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye, John.
Next up is the supervisor's report. I have a couple of things. The Gas Drilling Commission, we're short some members. And, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
And I was speaking with Doug Santoro the other day, and I think Doug will join. He doesn't want to commit yet. He wants to go to a meeting and see, but I really think that he will be a part of it.
Okay.
But having said that, we still need another 2 members.
Another 2 members?
Well, some of the people that are on it are not participating. And,
Okay.
So keep your thinking caps on. Let's get some objective people to serve on that. And Kara told me they're going to meet monthly now, not every 2 weeks. I think that'll be an advantage. I think that scared some people away, just a lot.
Yeah, every week.
You know,
When are they gonna meet?
I think it's the 3rd of April, Brad.
Yeah, I'm
On the
sorry.
website.
I know it was last.
Somebody asked me today and I didn't even look.
That would make sense, and I think it was just last week they had one. That's about 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, it'll be in the paper.
And it's on the
It'll be
website
advertised.
under notices. I put
Yeah,
it
it'll
on.
be noticed, and then they'll decide at that meeting when the next one will be, and they'll try to have a constant date so they don't have to advertise every month. Another thing I want to talk about is Tess and I went to the Job Corps. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of nervousness about the Job Corps possibly closing, and so we went along with a lot of other people, and that is a possibility. They don't really know. There's a $60 million shortfall in the Department of Labor budget. What you read in the newspaper about they're not replacing, as they graduate students, they're not replacing them. And that's gonna go on till when, Tess? June?
June 30th, I think.
So the whole thing is kind of in flux now. We're kind of a little nervous about it. I mean, it would be devastating to the town of Delaware in so many ways. They employ 143 people. You'll notice that there is a resolution in your package which we did in support of the Job Corps, which we'll do later. So, and anybody in town that would like to write a letter to the Department of Labor, to our senators and representatives, we have some talking points, some copies of some letters, and and we'd be happy to give them to you, because I think we need all the help we can get. I couldn't help but think a little when you were talking about the help that you get from the Job Corps, and you were talking about the help that you get from the Job Corps, and I know they help the Kiwanis, and they really help anybody that,
They do a lot of community things.
they do a great job with the community, the youth center, and also the other places, now, you know, Jeffersonville and other parts of the county, you know.
County, they put in the streetlights in Monticello too.
Yes.
I don't think people.
Yeah, that was.
That's right. So, I think, I mean, they are good neighbors, and they're kind of a valued member of our community, so I would hope that as many people as can sit down with a paper and pencil could write a letter to the powers.
Yeah.
And then finally, the last thing I want to talk about is we had a planning board meeting a week ago today, and the purpose of which was to go over the UDC's comments on our zoning changes. Now, these zoning changes, I keep looking to Jerry because Jerry is our chairman, and I think they were, 2 years in the making?
Yeah, we've been working on it for about 2 years. Things kept getting added to it, that's what kind of prolonged the process. Anyway, the UDC made some final comments on it, and at our last meeting, we kind of tweaked the regulations to everybody's satisfaction as far as the planning board and the UDC are concerned. I have one more change to get made to the map, but you could probably set the public hearing if you want.
Well, I think it's gonna have to wait till next, and I'm glad you brought it up, because, well, we have, from a timing perspective, we can't we need to do the
Yeah,
introductory law
we gotta introduce
first.
it. I think we'll probably do the introduction of it at the April meeting, and
Okay.
you're gonna anticipate a public hearing
So it'll be
after the April meeting. You know, given the scope and of it all, the board may well wanna consider holding that public hearing as a separate item, not as
Exactly.
part of it, not, you know, it's not something you're gonna do in 10 or 15 minutes before
Right,
a regular
I
town
think
board
that's a
meeting.
very good idea.
So that's the timing.
Probably a night devoted to that.
Not good, huh?
No, it's just, I mean, there's different issues and there's different people that have
Well,
different.
anyway, I should have, probably by the end of the week, next week, if not shortly thereafter, I should have the map updated and be able to provide you with a copy of the updated changes and whatever you need to go forward from there.
Does that need to go down when does that have to go back to them?
No,
No.
they did, I sent them what little tweaks we made.
Yeah.
They didn't comment at all on it, so I assuming that they're happy.
I have a meeting Tuesday, so if there is, it'll be brought up at the project review, and I'll be there. Okay.
And that's the end of my report. So the next, it'll be introduced at the next board meeting, and we'll set the public hearing and go forward. Old business. The resolution adopting the local law establishing an alternate date for the Board of Assessment Review. And that date is set for Thursday, May 30th. Now, it's going to be, I think in the law, doesn't it say it's the Thursday following the fourth Tuesday? Yeah. Yeah. So that'll be that way, you know, going forward. So can I have somebody,
I'll make that.
Second.
Harold, and second by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item I have is the resolution supporting the Job Corps. And I think, I don't know if I have to read this, do I?
No, all of us got it.
Everybody's got it. It's a resolution of support, and
We need
it's
to
gonna be.
vote on that tonight?
Yeah.
I make a motion that we accept that.
Anybody would like a copy of it? Right. Okay, it's a motion by John, seconded by Harold, was it?
Cindy.
Cindy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item we have is the sewer unit charge, property on Main SBL, which, anybody have some information on that?
Yeah, okay, this first one is, SBL 14-5-62.1. It's the pizzeria that moved next door, so now it's just one apartment and one store, so it's going from 3.5 units to 2 units. So we need board approval.
Oh, on the old building.
Right. We need board approval on this one, and then we'll move next door.
Okay. Can I get a motion on that? Okay.
So where the pizza moved out of,
Right.
it's not used, not being used then, and,
Well, first of all, they were tenants. He moved next door, he bought the building and moved
Right.
next door.
right.
So the landlord is asking this to be changed, because it's not a restaurant anymore, I guess, is the reason.
Right.
It's, at the moment, it's nothing.
Yeah.
He hasn't leased
Just
it
a
out.
store.
So they're reducing the number of.
It could go back.
Bathrooms or.
And then we'd
Another
have to
food
change it
place
then.
goes in,
Well,
but
I think for a restaurant, I think it's more than one charge.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
more than 1 unit charge.
That's right.
It's just going just to 1 unit. If it, whatever
Yeah,
changes.
that's the next resolution after we get
But then,
past
but then,
this one.
so can I get a, did I get one?
Yes, you did.
Cindy and John. Okay, now the next one is for the new pizzeria, which is,
61.1, and that's for 1 apartment and 3 restaurants, so the restaurants get 3. So it's going from 3 units to 4 units.
and Cindy makes that motion, and who seconded it?
Second.
Al seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Okay, great.
and, next month, we'll have the Cooper Neiman audit presentation. It wasn't quite done for this meeting yet. Will somebody move to accept the abstract?
So moved.
Second.
Second, Cindy. Favor?
Aye. Gotta pay our bills.
Okay, now,
You could borrow from
Where-
Cyprus accounts, you know.
now we, up to the public. Any public comment? Anybody have anything? Steve?
A couple of questions. First would be regarding Calhoun Creek Park. Seems to me, last summer, wasn't there some kind of a problem with insurance?
No.
No?
No, and we will, by the way, we will go, we have a rider with the CBA insurance, and we will be having that, but no, we've always had
Or
good insurance.
was it for payment of the litter pickup or garbage pickup? I thought there was some kind of a funding thing, a small amount that you had requested of the town to $200, or I thought that was.
Well, we were asking for, I think requesting as far as sharing the insurance expense, but the town did not accept it, so we,
Yeah.
you know, through our volunteerism, paid for the whole thing.
Yeah, but given the fact that there is a substantial surplus in the town right now, and a $200 amount is a very small amount, you know,
Yeah, I mean, it would be
it might be,
great, anything that
you know,
would
would
help
the town
out,
be
but,
willing to consider helping out the Calhoun Creek Park Association
For,
for
The
the insurance? They
for
made a
the
request
spread
last
insurance.
summer, I think, for the town to help them out,
Mhm.
and that was,
It might have been 2 years ago, and then.
Yeah, well, last.
I thought it was last
I
summer.
year
believe
also.
Jim looked into it, I can't remember exactly, but there was something with it that we decided not to do it.
Yeah. So I was just thinking that if they need some help, that maybe that might be something to consider.
We look into the reasons why we didn't do it last time.
yeah, I'm
I
not.
can't really remember what they
Yeah.
were, but there was
It
something.
is, 'cause it's for the town, I mean, it basically, it is for the entire town, if anybody wants to, you know, use the park, they, you know.
I had to have been the reason why we didn't.
I just can't remember.
All right, we'll look into it.
Yeah, the other thing.
Thank you.
The other
Thank you,
thing
Steve.
was that I commend whoever came up with this resolution. You did a fine job of writing it for, in support of the Job Corps. And I was wondering, given the fact that they are so important as an employer in the town, as an additional form of support, you know, I'm wondering if you might consider some kind of a thing. I mean, we have pancake breakfasts and stuff like that, but maybe like a public show of support on a weekend, just a couple of hours down by the park, you know, when the weather gets a little bit better, and maybe we could have, you know, some petitions that people could sign in support of a thing like this, because I have a feeling that, you know, not all that many people might be aware of this, and that, you know, some form of a real public show of support, apart from the individual letters, you know, it's something to consider. It's just an idea.
Well, you know, the decision is gonna be made by the Department of Labor.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, excuse me, a pancake supper in Calicoon will make much difference, but I think that what really will make a difference is our letters.
Yeah.
I think lots of letters to your congressman, make sure that they know it's a hot topic. Now, the county is also involved. I know the partnership has done a resolution. I know there's been a letter went out from the legislature. I also know of 2 other towns that are doing resolutions and asking for a show of support as we are tonight. So I think really that would go a lot further. I mean, lots of letters to these folks that make the decisions. And the people that make the decisions aren't the congressmen, they're just the people that can put the pressure on them. Your congressmen, your senators.
And maybe Dan can add a little bit into the paper.
Already finished. Yeah, actually, Freddie was there at that meeting, so he probably has more of the facts.
Yeah.
I'm just reciting them off my head. Rich?
I heard you talking, I don't hear too good, but
I'm sorry.
I heard you mention UDC and zoning, and I thought the same sentence. Are they trying to tell you how to zone?
No, we have to, because anything that affects the river corridor, we have to we have to advise them. We, of course, can do whatever we want. But the new zoning package that our planning board has come up with, they had some comments. We went over those comments at the last planning board meeting last week. So, and
What kind of comments did they have?
they were pretty
Good job,
rudimentary. No, they were, it was kind of, well, you know, some of the stuff was like, well, could you add this at the end of it to make it perfectly clear that it is the river, that the river corridor, make people understand that no matter what the zoning rules are, we still have land use guidelines in the river corridor. And I have a copy if you'd like. And it would just.
No, not really.
It was just.
But I just wondered if they're telling you what to do. I do have a problem with that.
No.
It's no wonder they weren't wanted. And you had some towns that didn't join.
That's right.
They might have been the smarter
You know, like
ones.
here's a comment. They wanted to add at the end of one of the sentences, must conform with provisions of the Upper Delaware Scenic and Recreational River if located within this area. Well, it was already done. It was, to me, it was redundant, but anybody that reads this can't possibly make the mistake of not connecting the two. So
We had put a blanket statement in there that covered everything within the river corridor, and they were asking for that statement to be included in almost every individual aspect, which in one instance we did comply, but the rest of it, we felt it was redundant, and they didn't object to that. I mean, which it was very redundant. They were just asking for the same thing to be said over and over and over again.
Yeah. That's right. So, you know, at the public hearing, I'm sure you'll be there and you'll be looking at all of those. We're gonna have a public hearing. We'll set it after April.
For the zoning changes?
Yes. And Jerry will be here with his map and His tuxedo, you know, the whole.
PowerPoint.
Is the map changed?
No, well,
Well, we made some changes to the zoning. We took some things out of the Cal B1 district and put them into the RU district for various reasons, which I'll explain. But if they fall within the river corridor, basically they're still under
All
the
right,
same.
I'm not talking about the river corridor.
Now you're safe.
Okay, no problem.
Still safe in Hortonville.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, still safe.
That one, we,
Hasn't expanded any at all.
okay, we have any other comments?
yes.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
I shall move.
Second.
Meeting's over. Kenny, you owe me money.